So some of the top questions I get about Stadia games almost on a daily basis at this point is about Madden and FIFA. I'm right there with you guys. I'm wanting to see those titles on this platform, but the official word is we are scheduled to receive 5 EA titles on Stadia, and that was announced all the way back at the end of April of 2020, and we're sitting here with only 1 title so far. So it's been a while. With that, we're going to speculate on when we're going to see both FIFA and Madden. Do we think that there's a chance though we could even see FIFA 22 and Madden 22, and could we get the next gen versions? Also, what could we potentially see with the 2 unannounced EA games? And last but not least, will EA Play come to Stadia at some point? With that, guys, make sure you guys subscribe to the fastest growing Stadia and cloud gaming channel in all of YouTube, so you guys are always up to date. So hit that red button down below. Also consider hitting that like button and notification bell. So right away, the official word on when we are going to receive both Madden 21 and FIFA 21 are the winter time frame. This means near the end of December to start all the way until March 20th. We are now already in that period and we're nearing the end of January. All this means is now we're only just a handful of weeks away. At the very latest, we'll see either of these titles sometime in March, but I would be somewhat shocked to see them both come at the same time near the end. But again, you guys never know. So just doing some simple math, we're about to see both of these games sometime in the next 8 weeks and no later than that. With both of these announcements coming last April, I would be pretty shocked to see a delay since there's been plenty of time, but then again, guys, you never know. I also don't think we're going to see the next gen versions of either FIFA 21 or Madden 21, simply because not even the PC version got it, but FIFA 22 or Madden 22 could be a completely different question altogether. One thing that I really like to hang my hat on is recent interviews with both Jack Buser and John Justice, the vice president of Stadia. Both essentially pointed out how they are pretty plugged into the community and they are fully aware of which games you guys are asking about on a consistent basis. Now, both of these games are 2 games that I would bet money on that they know are very much requested all the time. Not only that, but again, guys, as we know with the Capcom and Stadia deal, Stadia is willing to drop bags of money to ensure titles are coming to Stadia that are very popular. Since we still have 2 games that are unannounced coming from EA, could those 2 games actually be the new FIFA 22 and the new Madden 22? We've also seen reports of games coming with ray tracing sometime this year, with the developer of course accidentally tweeting it would be on Stadia, so we are going to see improved visuals, hopefully even improved performance all around. So could we see next gen versions of FIFA 22 or Madden 22? Now this would be 100% pure speculation, but it's definitely possible, guys, though maybe unlikely, but I would not rule it out, because imagine this. Imagine the press that Stadia could get by having a next-gen iteration of both of these games from a platform that costs nothing down to invest in. And in my opinion, we would end up having another situation, another potential situation like we did with Cyberpunk, where people were blown away with how well these games performed on Stadia. If I'm thinking these same things, I think you better believe the people in charge of Stadia are thinking that exact same thought that I am. So it might seem like a leap to think next gen versions of games on Stadia could come this year, considering we haven't seen it yet, but later in 2021 to me isn't that far-fetched in my opinion. For all intents and purposes, Stadia is a next gen platform, and really there's no better time than later this year for us to start seeing those giant leaps, and I think we could potentially see it. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk about in this video were the 2 unannounced games from EA. Now, I had mentioned, what if the 2 games were just simply FIFA 22 or Madden 22? But what if they are completely different IPs? What about the new Mass Effect Remastered? Man, that would be pretty insane, and I think a lot of us would love to see that. Or maybe even something as simple as the newest Star Wars Squadron. Or what about the rumored Apex Legends? Now, I've really cooled off these rumors because they were pretty flimsy. But let me tell you what happened. An EA rep had told a couple of game journalists who were receiving embargoed news about the upcoming Apex Legends Switch release, but they also mentioned that it was coming out for Stadia. Then these journalists, which by the way, it wasn't just one person but at least 2, ended up writing this article and then had to be told to retract the information once the article came out and it mentioned the Stadia part. potentially because a Stadia version was not anywhere near done ready, but it is supposed to be coming out. Again, this is the rumor and it really isn't that much to go on, and I haven't discussed it a lot because it could have just been a random slip up. Though imagine slipping up, oh yeah, it's gonna release for the Nintendo Switch and Stadia. I mean, the word Stadia is just so freaking specific. But again, guys, Apex isn't officially announced for Stadia, but at this point the two unannounced games could be anything, and my guess would be as good as yours. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is EA Play. Now, we just saw EA Play recently be added to the xCloud library within the Xbox Game Pass, and recent interviews with John Justice and hinted that they are fully aware of the type of pricing models gamers are looking for, and that one of those models is that Netflix-style buffet. Now, we already have Ubisoft Plus, including Stadia Pro, with over 30 games of access with just one monthly payment. Of course, Ubisoft Plus is another payment. Now, in my mind, I have almost little doubt that we could see and will see EA Play on Stadia, but we are pretty far away from this just because we only have one EA game on this entire platform, and we are only set to have 5 games so far that have been announced, as in there's been 5 total games announced to come to Stadia. Even if all 5 games came out by this summer, I think there would still need to be quite a few more EA games before we would see something like EA Play, but I would fully expect to see something like this maybe in 2022. Again, this is all speculation on my end, but this is also just going by the trends that I've seen with Stadia so far and what the powers that be at Stadia have actually said. But alright guys, with all that, let me know down below, are you guys gonna be picking up FIFA and Madden on Stadia? And what are your expectations with both of these ports on Stadia? What other games do you think we could see come with EA? I would love to hear your guesses and what games you actually want to see come to Stadia. Like always guys, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm Sunny, and like always, I'll see you guys in the cloud.